no way to know for sure when that momentum dies or why it picked back up per se. And what that end game's going to be for interest. But the interest is 100% the most important thing. And I think that's why GameStop's ripping more than AMC is because there's just more interest in it. More people have their eyes on it, you know? So once the interest is gone, once the media stops covering it, once it's not trending, game over.
What's crazy about that is I think that too, because it is in there. But then I'll do like polls on my Twitter and it'll get 2,000-3,000 responses, which I feel
I've
is a
seen
good
those, man.
and AMC wins like every time. And I'm like,
You're not even a biased channel. You do both.
Yeah, like I'll talk about. I mean, I'm just in both. Like,
right, yeah, exactly.
But the fact, I think it has a little bit to do with like per share, it's cheaper, so people are like, well, I could buy more, so if it squeezes, I'll make more. I think that has an aspect to do it with it. But I'm surprised day and day again that the interest is more so in AMC. And once again, everyone listening, we want them both to squeeze. Like it's not that, but I'm surprised that GameStop does have a better reaction. And to me, it's a little bit of like other hedgies, other Wall Streeters have something to do with that. Because like obviously they're overpowering retail money because I think 2,000, 3,000 people on these channels is a great sample size for retail, like for people like us.
Right.
So it's interesting that AMC will have a nice 8% day and then GameStop's having a 15% day, 16% day. Like that's what we've kind of seen this week so far. I mean, even today, AMC was a little bit red and then GME was a little bit green. Like it's weird.
It is, and I think you hit something right there with the institutional investors. I think that's the difference. If I had to take a guess at it, and you guys let me know what clicks with your channel, but I covered GameStop in the beginning of this whole situation, and I covered AMC. My GameStop video, just basic metrics, got 1/10 of the interaction that my AMC video did. I just genuinely feel like the retail investor is more interested in AMC. And what that comes down to in my mind, now that I'm rationalizing it, you said it, Matt, I didn't honestly even think of this, is it probably just has heavier institutional stake. There's probably just more institutional buying coming in on that since they do, control more of the liquidity going into stocks.
I think people understand AMC a little bit more too. They're like, okay, they're just going to open back up and start selling movie tickets. Bada bing, bada boom, we're good to go. Where GameStop, you're kind of betting on a technology play that they're trying to transition into. Sure, they very well might be able to do it, but it's less readily understandable opposed to opening back up in business, sell movie ticket, sell popcorn. It's very understandable on AMC. And the share price is 1/10 or 1/40 of what GameStop is, so it's easier to buy. There's a psychological thing where if a share price is $10, it seems cheaper than the share price of $100. And I think that comes into play too, especially for people who are like, this is my first stock. This one's only $10. That's cheap,
It makes me so mad too when people are like, it's too rich for my blood. GME, that's too expensive. I'm like, you think that's the price of the stock, or you could buy it for actual shares?
That would make life a lot easier if there was just every company had the same number of shares, and then you could just tell value based on share price.
Just walk down the aisle and be like, oh, I want 2 AMCs, I want a GME.
I think what's attractive for some investors, though, is we're not every retail investor is out there playing with thousands of dollars. Sometimes there's people who legitimately play with $50 or $100, and for them to say, I'm going to own 1/4 or a half of a GameStop share, maybe that just doesn't hit home for them. They'd rather hold 5 or 6 or 7 shares of AMC, and that makes them feel like they're more of a part of the cause, and like there's more potential upside. Because I mean, at the end of the day, a share is a share, right? It's only worth you're still buying one share for whatever that dollar sign is. So GameStop is more expensive, and if AMC has the true potential for a squeeze like GameStop does, I don't think it'll happen at the same time. I think it'll be one and then the other, and then one, just back and forth here. But if that does come to fruition and AMC does end up doing that squeeze to the full potential, you're going to have that same amount of upside, but you're paying less for it.
And I think at the end of the day too, if one squeezes,